In the heart of Afghanistan, far from modern cities and shining shopping malls, there exists a completely different world. A world not ruled by comfort or luxury, but by the daily struggle to survive. Here, in this dangerous local market, the real story of life begins for thousands of people who come every day not for shopping or entertainment, but simply to search for a way to earn a living. This market is not a place for tourists, and it is not organized or clean like the modern markets you might imagine. Instead, it reflects the harsh reality of life that many people in Afghanistan live every single day. From the very first moment you step into this place, you feel as if you have entered a world full of noise, movement, and tired faces carrying long stories of patience and struggle. With the sunrise, the market slowly begins to wake up. Vendors open their small stalls made of old wood or worn metal, and they start arranging their simple goods. Some sell small amounts of vegetables that they manage to bring from nearby villages. Others sell used clothes, while some sell old tools that have been repaired to be sold again. Here, nothing is wasted, because anything can become a source of income, no matter how simple it is. You see men sitting on the ground in front of their goods, calling out loudly to attract customers, while small carts loaded with products pass through the narrow alleys of the market. In this place, the noise never truly stops. The voices of people mix with the sound of metal carts and the constant footsteps moving quickly through the crowded pathways. There are small children working from the early morning, carrying heavy bags for a few small coins, or selling simple things like water or cheap sweets. For many of these children, school is not always an available option, because life here teaches them from an early age that work is the only way to help their families. As you walk through these narrow alleys, you quickly realize that this market is not just a place for buying and selling, but a real picture of everyday life. The faces of the men here carry the marks of many years of hard work and exhaustion. Many of them started working in this market when they were very young, and they grew up spending their days among these small stalls. Some of them dream of a better life, but the difficult circumstances often keep those dreams far away. Yet despite all these hardships, there is something remarkable about this place. It is the spirit of patience and strength that the people here carry. You might see a vendor smiling even when customers are few, or a man helping his neighbor arrange his goods without expecting anything in return. In poor markets like this, solidarity between people is not just a word, it is a part of everyday life. Between the alleys, you can see many different types of goods, piles of simple vegetables, sacks of rice and wheat, colorful spices filling the air with strong aromas, and pieces of clothing hanging on old rope. Every corner of the market tells a different story. There is also a tea seller, standing behind a large kettle that never stops boiling, serving hot cups of tea to workers and traders who need a short moment of rest during a long day of labor. But this market is not only a place of poverty and hard work, it is also a place full of risks. The heavy crowds make movement difficult, and small thefts can happen at any moment. Because of this, many people move carefully, holding tightly onto their small amounts of money and constantly looking around them. Life here is not easy, and every person tries to protect whatever little they own. As time passes, the market becomes even more crowded. People arrive from nearby villages, some coming to sell what they have, while others come to buy what their families need. Bargaining is an essential part of life here. No one accepts the first price. And every purchase often turns into a long conversation between the seller and the buyer. Sometimes the deal ends with a smile, and sometimes the buyer simply walks away to search for a better price somewhere else. In one of the alleys, you may see an old man sitting behind a small wooden table selling old tools. These tools may once have been part of someone else's life, but now they are waiting for a new owner. In this market, things rarely lose their value because almost anything can still be useful to someone. Children run through the narrow alleys, some playing and others working. One child carries a box full of cold water bottles, calling out to people to buy them. Another child helps his father sell the small amount of fruit they managed to buy in the morning. Despite the exhaustion, you can see in their eyes a mixture of innocence and strength that comes from facing life at such a young age. As noon approaches, the sun grows hotter and the air inside the market becomes heavier. Vendors sit in whatever shade they can find, while customers continue searching for the best prices. Some people sit on the ground to eat a simple meal of bread and tea before returning once again to their work. In markets like this, time feels different. The hours pass slowly, yet the work never stops. Everyone here knows that every hour could mean selling one more item, which might mean buying a little more food for their family in the evening. Even though this market may seem harsh and dangerous to outsiders, for many people it is the heart of daily life. Here, friends meet, people exchange news, and relationships are built between traders and customers. The market is not only an economic place, but an entire community that lives and breathes within these narrow streets. As evening approaches, the market slowly begins to change. Some vendors start packing up their goods, while others try to sell whatever remains before the day ends. The golden light of the setting sun reflects on the old stalls, giving the place a quiet feeling after a long day full of noise and movement. The children who worked all day begin returning home with their families, and the workers sit for a few moments of rest before starting the long journey back. For many of them, the day was not easy, but it was another day of endurance. This market in Afghanistan may look dangerous, poor, and chaotic, but in reality, it reflects the strength of human beings when they face life with very little. Here, every person fights in their own way to survive, for their family, and for a small hope of a better tomorrow. And perhaps when you look at this place from far away, you will only see poverty and exhaustion. But when you walk through these narrow alleys, you discover something else. You discover the stories of people who continue living despite everything, proving every single day that hope can still exist even in the hardest places in the world.
سیده سیده.
Pakat pa 20 rupa, 20 rupa. Nilomas, pakat pa 20 rupa, 20 rupa. هر څه ټول لا والا سلام علیکم سلام خواهچه ها کاکا کنه
شنو يمكن تسليه
ښه صحیح خو صحیح ستړی یم خو زه هم ښه
خوبۍ
صحیح
تاثیر دی
او زه هم ښه صحیح قوي ستړی یم
صحیح ورکه بې خوبۍ تاثیر دی
شال زراعت تیز بوزیدش تیز سیکل هم بکر آله گوی
ولا يستشير ولا
Maşa kanalına.